Welcome to In Focus. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrives at the White House for crucial talks with U.S. President Donald Trump, focusing on Gaza's ceasefire agreement, Iran's nuclear ambitions, and a new arms shipment to Israel. Meanwhile, Trump has signed a new executive order aimed at creating a sovereign wealth fund, a move that could potentially involve purchasing TikTok and reshaping U.S. investment strategies. Regarding Gaza, Trump stated that there are no guarantees the ceasefire will hold. Also, he expressed interest in trading Ukraine's rare earth metals in exchange for aid. Stay with us. The New York Times has reported that Trump is set to meet Netanyahu at the White House for discussions on several key issues. The New York Times reported that their talks will focus on the fragile Gaza ceasefire, Iran's nuclear ambitions, and potential arms shipments to Israel. The newspaper added that while both leaders share a strong partnership, their views may diverge on key matters. Netanyahu faces political pressure at home, particularly regarding how quickly to resume the war on Gaza. Trump says that he is pushing for a permanent ceasefire and the return of all the detainees, with hopes of securing a broader Middle East peace deal. The leaders will also discuss Iran's nuclear program, with Netanyahu strongly advocating for action to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. Additionally, Trump is expected to push forward with arms shipments to Israel, including billions in weaponry, despite previous delays under the Biden administration. And for more analysis, we're joined from New York by Mr. Ahmed Maharim, writer and political analyst. Welcome to Qnews, sir. Now, let's start by asking you about the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire. Also, the ceasefire in Lebanon is expected to be a key topic during Netanyahu's meeting with Trump, given the IOS ongoing aggression and the fragile nature of the truce. What are the prospects for a lasting ceasefire influenced by Trump and Netanyahu meeting?
I think within the upcoming few hours, that kind of meeting between both the President of America, Trump, and Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, I think there are so many important topics, but on the top of the agenda is the ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, and the detain of the Israeli occupied by the Hamas group, plus what will happen in the ceasefire in Lebanon. Both topics, I think, are having very priority for both leaders, and I think this visit for Benjamin Netanyahu, it could be different than the previous visits because it came in a very critical time. This is only 2 weeks for President Trump to be in house. Plus, there is so many pressure, economically and politically, from President Trump around the world. The statements, the issues, the executive orders that make actually inside America and around the global, so many kinds of fear, and none exactly known what will happen in the next future. But Middle East is very important and very concerning to President Trump. I think by 5:30 in the afternoon local time of East New York time, I think there is a press release and actually or a conference. This conference will be between both sides after the first meeting between Trump and Netanyahu, and then it will be extended to all the delegation of both sides. But I think this time President Trump is keen interest not to agree exactly to all what Benjamin Netanyahu is hoping that he will guarantee a green line from the President Trump to do in the Middle East. There is so many areas, Middle East, Iran on the topic, the future of Hamas, the release of the detenee between Hamas and the prisoner in the Israeli side. I mean, there is so many issues, but I think Trump, this time, he got a reaction from the Arab countries that the displacement of the Palestinians to go somewhere else is not exactly the good idea. That's why we are expecting some news. It will be making the future of the Middle East in a good shape, I hope.
Okay. So reports indicate that Netanyahu is seeking approval for over $8 billion in U.S. arms purchases and also transfers of roughly $1 billion worth of U.S. military aid. Now, how do these weapons transfers enable Israel's continued violence in Gaza? And what message does this send about the U.S.'s role in the conflict?
That's exactly the key question which we are used to hear from different leaders. Like 4 years ago, the Democrat Biden have sent to Israel millions of dollars and a huge amount of military, and it was having a very sad impact to the situation in the conflict. Again, I think as a matter of weapons, as a matter of financial assistance to Israel, there is no doubt. America considers Israel as very important ally to since years. So the financial support, it will happen. The question is why they still insist in America to give Israel this kind of weapon. Always they say to defend Israel, to defend what? Defend again what? I think this is something very crucial, and I hope that something can happen to give Mr. Trump some kind of different advice that the Middle East leader and the people in the Middle East would like to hear something different, I guess.
Well, the meeting is expected to address Iran's nuclear ambitions as well, with Netanyahu framing it as an existential threat. How do you view the U.S. and Israel's approach towards Iran, especially in light of past U.S. decisions to withdraw from nuclear agreements?
President Trump announced before coming to the White House that he was complaining and giving a bad picture about how the previous 4 years of Biden, America were involved to the Middle East conflict, and also in Europe, the battle between Russia and Ukraine. He said, I came to end those two wars, and in my period, America will not involve in any war in the future. So I think if Benjamin Netanyahu is expecting that he can get a green line from Trump that he can attack Iran, I doubt very much. Yes.
So
I think he will not get that guarantee from Trump.
Okay.
Mr. Trump will not agree on what Benjamin Netanyahu. He would like to have some kind of political negotiation with Iran, not to attack Iran.
Trump has also claimed credit for the ceasefire deal, although it was negotiated during the Biden administration. How do you assess the role of the United States in mediating the conflict, and what are the implications for future phases of negotiations?
I'm quite unable to hear because there is other interaction. Somebody is talking to other lines. So would you please, can you repeat?
Yes, I can definitely repeat the question to you, sir. I was asking you that U.S. President Donald Trump has claimed credit for the ceasefire deal. He said, I'm the one who played the major role in securing the deal between Hamas and Israel, although it was negotiated during the Biden administration. How do you assess the role of the United States in mediating the conflict, and what are the implications for future phases of negotiations?
Well, to be honest, internally here in America, so many people are looking for that kind of matter. Like, there is no doubt there was some kind of big effort was done from Biden administration to stop the war and to guarantee the ceasefire. I think from Netanyahu point, it was expected, as we know his character, that he would like to wait till Mr. President Trump will be in the White House, and that kind of ceasefire could be like the gift from, Prime Minister of Israel to the President Trump, the upcoming president. I think both ideas, we can say, there is no doubt, I think, because Trump in house and Trump in power, that ceasefire was agreed. But again, the negotiation today between the both leaders will address the point of, are we ready to go to the second phase of the agreement of ceasefire? I think Benjamin Netanyahu would like to go more for the war. He doesn't want to stop the war because of his local position. He doesn't want that the other two cabinet.
The rift in his cabinet, especially by Smotrich. Yes.
And that's why I think President Trump is quite pure interest in that point, to give him credit that the government will continue and they will not be having any trouble in the future. That is the main, I think, goal that Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to guarantee from Trump, and he will do.
Okay. Netanyahu faces an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court over war crimes in Gaza. How does this impact his position on the global stage, and what does this meeting with Trump reveal about the United States' willingness to support him?
That case was not recently, a couple of months ago, and he did fly. He cannot fly to Europe. In different Europes, he will face a problem. But he fly directly to America, because I think America is not one of the countries already involved in this kind of agreement.
Yes.
That's why he was welcomed a couple of months ago to the Congress, and he gave a great speech according to the administration of America. I think it is time, with what Mr. Trump giving a kind of tension to South Africa, there is something very, very unclear on the tube of the funnel. Let us wait and see.
Okay. Well, that was Mr. Ahmed Maharim, writer and political analyst. Thank you very much for your insights. And now we move on to the recent executive orders signed by U.S. President Donald Trump. Stay with us.
Donald Trump is his name, and he's there to stay.
As unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
America powerful. We will win, win, win. And we will make America great again. We will very quickly make America great again.
The Washington Post has reported that President Donald Trump's executive order proposes the creation of a U.S. sovereign wealth fund, drawing inspiration from successful models like those in Saudi Arabia and Norway. The fund would utilize national assets, including potential deals like the one with TikTok, to build long-term wealth and diversity the U.S. economy. The newspaper added that sovereign wealth funds are government-controlled investment vehicles that manage national assets typically funded by natural resource revenues, but also other government holdings. They are used to invest in infrastructure, technology, and resources, strengthening national economies. Although the idea has bipartisan backing, challenges such as the U.S. national debt remain. However, the fund could serve as a crucial tool for boosting economic resilience and also creating sustainable wealth for the future. And for more analysis, we're joined from Cairo by Mr. Mohammed Izzeddin, managing editor of Al Ahram newspaper. Welcome to Q News, sir. And let's start by asking you, the creation of a sovereign wealth fund might involve buying TikTok. How do you assess the potential national security risks this poses, especially with TikTok's ownership by a Chinese company?
Greetings to you. Certainly, the United States of America is in pursuit control at a larger scale in the foreign deals as well as foreign investment. Trump wishes, through the establishment of the Southern Fund, to have a political nature of the U.S. resolution politically. Therefore, most decisions related to such investment into the Southern Fund, some related to the currency and investment for special purposes that serve the economy in America, that could not be benefit for the countries that have investment in the United States. The United States is in a big trade ally in different countries throughout the world, and economic relations goes according to the balance of export and the export as well as the international trade initiatives. But the latest orientations of the President Trump is exceed its natural economic relations and trying to impose some sort of balance politically, not economically. The U.S. is suffering of a great deficit, despite it is the first economist country throughout the world, yet it is the first countries in the world. President Trump wishes to overcome such economic factors via imposing political resolutions or singling by using indirect force or power by threatening of lifting the American protectionism of some countries or into some blocks, world blocks that joined by the United States of America. So it is not strange for U.S. to establish such a fund that would enter in a competition with the biggest sovereign funds in the world, such as in Norway and some of the Arab or rather Gulf countries.
Regarding Trump's comments on the Gaza ceasefire, he said he was uncertain if it would hold. Do you think that this statement reflects a lack of U.S. commitment to peace in Gaza?
The leaks of a statement by President Trump regarding the Gaza deal, if it is correct, I would consider just a relic of a promise by the President Trump to complete the peace path in the region. Trump has introduced himself before inauguration as a sponsor of peace and wishes to return of the Israeli detainees and the whole addressation of the military actions in Gaza. Well, he talked about it that it is not a guarantee of the resilience of the deal that would be considered a setback that should be reconsidered, and I think that several consultants and review it as it happened in the levies imposed on Mexico and Canada, and he withdrew from it before it takes into effect, but never relented to the economic measures regarding with China. Back to what he mentioned about Gaza deal and upon the leaks in the media of close resources into the U.S. that he might religion of the promises such as in the West Bank that should be considered a setback in the political path of the U.S. and its sponsorship of the peace agreement in the region. President Trump has vowed to establish the peace and sponsor it, but Yet, the statements following his meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, affected at a large degree of the American views. And as we know that Netanyahu's facing pressures of the far wing in his coalition and his desire of prolonging its cabinet before to avoid his pursuit legally. So the American statements about Gaza, that would raise questions regarding the American sponsorship of the ceasefire, or let me say, establish the peace in a very advanced...
Yes. Mr. Mohammed Izzeddin, please stay with us. But now we will move to a live press conference between Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Syrian interim president in Ankara. We'll go back. We'll go there and be back.
To develop the relations, as I always indicated, if we have the face, so there is a will. As we believe in this matter from the bottom of our heart, and as you all know that our Syrian brothers, that they were inspired by the whole world to be upon the time for the renaissance of Syria, that we've no doubt about it. And if we look at the future, so we'll find with full pride and clear and crystal that the aspiration that could be achieved for the Syrian people. And this time for the Islamic countries to support Syria, and it is important to sustain, and a mutual visit to Syria into the Islamic world will be very important, and we are very grateful for those countries supporting Syria in its renaissance. We pray to the Almighty God in the upcoming period to assist us. Before I give him the floor, I wish him all the best of luck in a new mission of in the Syrian administration, and I wish to salute the Syrian people on behalf of me and my people, and I hope that this meeting will be a means for the goodness of our nations. Thank you, Your Excellency. Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the Turkish people, peace be upon you all. And I would like to extend the great thanks and appreciation to the Turkish President for his kind invitation to visit Turkey. And thank you, Your Excellency, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, dear attendees, the Turkish people, peace be upon you all. I would like to extend my thanks and appreciation to President of Turkey, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, for the kind invitation to visit Syria, and for the warm welcome and hospitality that we've got used to it. And there's no doubt that the Syrian people would never forget the historical stance of Turkey when they opened their countries for millions of refugees that came to the maximum when in Syria that involved in the previous bloody wars. And and we cannot forget that the Turkish rule of having a successor for the Syrian administration. The relations between the Syrian Republic of Syria and Turkey is deep-rooted in geography and history, was embodied in one fabric. Despite all the hardship of the Syrian leadership, such relations were boosted and will be extended throughout the time, as we reiterate to transform these ties to a deep strategic partnership in all arenas to achieve good and prosperity for our people. And we've already started within this framework in a giant collaboration in different arenas, socially and economically and politically, and we are working together in the top strategic partnership to confront the security threats in the region that would guarantee the sustainable peace and security for Syria and Turkey. We've consulted all the threats that would hinder to have the sovereignty of the Syrian territories, and we've already discussed the necessity of the international pressure to implement the 1774 resolution. And we've already extended our preparation to bolster the trade exchange, particularly in the reconstruction of the infrastructure that would have a very recovered economy. We reiterate our thanks and gratitude of such an invitation, and what we've touched of a positive vibes of this relation, and we thank Mr. Tayyip Erdogan for his attempts to regain peace and security in the whole region. And I'm honored to invite President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to visit Syria as soon as possible, and peace be upon you all.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have just seen the historical press conference between Syria's interim president Ahmed al-Shara and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Recep Tayyip Erdogan talked about the historical relations between Syria and Turkey, and also Syria's interim president talked about those historical relations, and that they are both willing to take those relations to the future, exploring means of enhancing bilateral relations in all fields, and sharing common visions regarding the stability in the Middle East. That was a brief about the press conference, and we had with us today also Mr. Mohammed Izzeddin, managing editor of Al Ahram newspaper. Thank you very much for your interest, sir. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of In Focus. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates here on Qnews.